Homer Simpson is hands down the most recognisable character from any television show. With The Simpsons just being renewed for their 30th season, even people who haven't seen the show will be able to tell you who he is. There are countless episodes that revolve around Homer that people often say are their favourites, but today I'm going to rank them. Here is the top 5 Homer Simpson episodes.
I'm never going to church again.
Homer, are you actually giving up your faith?
No. Well, yeah.
At number 5, we have Homer the Heretic. In this episode, Homer skips church to stay in bed on a cold winter's day, as anyone else would do if they had the house to themselves. He dances in his underwear and makes his patented space-age out-of-the-world moon waffles. When Marge gets home, he claims he had the greatest day of his life and it was all due to skipping church. He proceeds to stay home the next Sunday, enjoying time to himself. He smokes a cigar on the couch while reading Playroom magazines. Eventually, he falls asleep, this causing a house fire due to the lit cigar. A pool and the volunteer firefighters save him from certain death. Homer claims it was vengeance from God, while Reverend Lovejoy says it was a second chance. The next week, he attends church and falls asleep during the service, but I mean, can you blame him? He doesn't really have a lot of free time between sleeping at work and spending all night at Moe's.
I'm just a big toasty cinnamon bun. I never want to leave this bed. Uh-oh. Gotta take a whiz. Think, man. Think. Think. I better get it. I'll take care of this.
Coming in at number 4, we have Deep Space Homer. Over the years, Homer has had many life goals, like managing a beautiful country western singer and eating the world's biggest hoagie, but hands down the most impressive achievement Homer J. Simpson has ever accomplished was going to space. Homer and Barney end up being chosen by NASA for a space mission. At every stop, Barney is doing well with the training, since he has not had a drop of beer in weeks. Barney gets chosen for the role, but due to some celebratory non-alcoholic wine, he falls off the wagon and goes back to his usual self. Having no other candidate besides Homer, he gets chosen by the 2 sweetest words in the English language.
Well, Homer, I guess you're the winner by default.
Default! Woohoo! The 2 sweetest words in the English language. Default!
Where'd you get that anyway?
Sent away?
Being someone who was unfit for the role of an astronaut, Homer's idiocy almost causes death for the whole crew, but their lives are saved thanks to inanimate carbon rod. Deep Space Homer is a very great episode. Still to this day, it has a lot of mainstream media success, and is very quotable amongst Simpsons fans and non-fans.
Well, there's my ride. The underground awaits.
At least this time I'm awake for your goodbye.
Oh, Homer. Remember, whatever happens, you have a mother, and she's truly proud of you.
3. Mother Simpson. To get out of cleaning as a part of community service, Homer fakes his own death. When this results in the family's utilities being cut off and headlines being made, the tragic news of his death brings his long-lost mother Mona Simpson back in town. She was a hippie who was on the run from the law because of her activism against Mr. Burns. This episode is definitely one that pulls on the heartstrings a lot. After being raised by his father who doesn't care for him too much, things get emotional when they finally reunite. But it turns out things just aren't back to normal. After a trip to the post office to collect old letters, Mr. Burns recognizes a familiar face and alerts the FBI. Mona, not wanting to be caught, packs a bag and leaves. Homer and Mona escape with the help of Chief Wiggum out of gratitude for curing his asthma years ago. This episode finishes with Mona driving away while Homer waves into the distance until the van is out of sight. He is seen at night still sitting on the car gazing at the stars. This is for sure one of the saddest episodes of The Simpsons of all time.
should have told myself. That don't fail me now. No!
Number 2. King Size Homer. In this episode, Homer tries everything to get out of the plan's new exercise program and discovers that being on disability will do just that. With Bart's help, Homer begins eating whatever he can get a hold of, including Play-Doh. Homer has always been known as a fat man, coming in at a healthy 239 pounds or 102 kilograms for all of us who use the metric system. He has to gain 60 plus pounds to be able to qualify for disability. From doing this, he'll be able to get out of the plan's new exercise regime and work from home. He gains more than expected, coming in at a massive 315 pounds. A computer workstation is set up in the Simpsons home for Homer's new position, and this is where we get the brilliant quote.
8:58. First time I've ever been early for work. Except for all those daylight savings days, lousy farmers. To start, press any key. Where's the any key? I see ESC, Catarrh, and Pig Up. There doesn't seem to be any key.
Due to Homer's laziness, he employs a water-drinking bird to hit the Y key on his computer to do his work for him while he goes out and does other things, such as washing his fat guy hat and going to see a movie. Ultimately, this fails. From this negligence, Homer almost costs the life of everyone at the plant, but the only way to prevent the explosion is to go to the plant and manually override it himself. He gets there in the nick of time, but ironically, the thing that stops the explosion is his fat ass. After saving the whole town from death, Mr. Burns awards him by helping him lose the weight with the plant's exercise program, but immediately gets frustrated and pays for Homer to get liposuction.
Call me Hank. Say, before we continue our tour, would you mind hanging my coat up on the wall, please?
Let's see,
Relax, Homer. At Globex, we don't believe in walls. Matter of fact, I didn't even give you my coat.
Wow.
Number 1. He only moved twice. Homer has worked at a nuclear plant for years. He has always had it to fall back on, even though Mr. Burns does not like him very much, and the fact that he's not a great worker. In this episode, we greeted to Waylon Smithers singing a tune, "I Work for Monty Burns," whilst he walks to work. On his commute, a black limousine stops him and asks him if he would like to lift to work, but he declines, joyously continuing his commute. They tell him they have a job opening at Globex Corporation, what he declines, and says this great line.
The answer is no. What's wrong with this country? Can't a man walk down the street without being offered a job?
After Waylon declines the job offer, Globex Corp have to offer another employee at the power plant a job, the second most senior employee at the plant being Homer Simpson. Of course he accepts without thinking it through and consulting his wife. Later that day, Homer comes home and expresses his excitement about his new job. Marge raises valid concerns about how she has dug herself into a happy little rut in Springfield, but eventually Homer sways the family. They pack all their stuff into a U-Haul van and drive to their new home in Cypress Creek. Once there, they are greeted by Homer's new boss, Hank Scorpio, hands down one of the greatest Simpson characters of all time. Straight away he starts to say great one-liners that you have quoted a million times, such as, "Have you ever seen someone say goodbye to a shoe?" Homer does great on his first day, while the rest of the family does not. Lisa is allergic to all the flora and fauna in Cypress Creek. Marge has nothing to do and ends up drinking wine to pass the time. Bart's put into a leg-up program due to not learning anything at Springfield Elementary. Ultimately, the family are not enjoying their new lives in Cypress Creek and want to go back to Springfield. This puts Homer in a tough situation since he is doing good at his job, but also he wants to make his family happy. Eventually he comes to the conclusion that he wants to move back to Springfield. He tells Hank what he replies, "Let him go, you'll stay here with me, we'll go bowling." You can tell this really sucks for Homer because he actually enjoys the things that he's doing and has things going for it, but understands what his family wants is more important than his. I know I didn't touch much on the excellence of Hank Scorpio in this video, but I can go on for hours about him, and that's a list for another time. This, in my opinion, is the top 5 Homer-centric episodes. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a like, it really helped. If you think I was wrong or missed something, feel free to tell me why in the comments. Make sure you subscribe for more Simpsons lists and follow me on social media listed on the screen. I'll smell you later.